All right, so let's start the discussion for today. And it's been a while for me. I'm not teaching online, and now I'm doing it again because at the moment I'm teaching at a university here, and in the past 6 weeks we have done the online delivery, and I think everything went quite well. Now, at the same time, I'm also teaching my first son, and I think in this early of stage of his learning, it's quite interesting to see how he developed his learning. So I think now I'm going to share my experience in teaching my son. So now at the moment, I'm teaching him about the addition for fraction. So in the past, actually, he did the making equal value. So for example, this the fraction that equals to half, and what I was asking to him is, can he get the same fraction that has equal value as half? And he did okay. So basically he answered, um, for example, 2 on 4, or he answered 3 on 6. So the next question that I asked him is, how did he get this fraction? So this is very important thing that you need to ask to your kid when they learn about this stuff. How they got the same value of a fraction like 2 on 4 equal to 1 on 2, or 3 on 6 equal to 1 on 2. Normally, when they got this fraction, so what they do, they will explain, okay, so we got this because we multiplied the numerator by 2. So 1 times 2, we got 2. And then we also multiplied the denominator with the same number, 2 times 2. So we got 4. So in this case, we got the same value of a fraction. And then when we go from 1 on 2 to 3 on 6, we multiplied the numerator by 3, and we multiplied this by 3 also, so we get 3 on 6, and so on. And that's very good thing to ask them, how did they get the same value of a fraction. Now, of course, if we can push this a little bit further, so basically we try to ask if they can get another proof, or how to show that, let's say, 1/3 equals to 2 on 6. So we try to ask the same question, basically, how can this kid prove that 1/3 equal to 2 on 6? Of course, the first answer they would answer is, they will say, okay, we got 1 to 2 by multiplying this by 2, and from 3 to 6 we multiplied by 2 also, so we got 2 on 6. Well, that's correct. Now, if this kid, if this student, they can provide another explanation, in this case we try to push them to imagine or do a graphical proof, that would be something very nice. So in this case, they should learn the idea of 1/3. In this case, they need to draw 1/3 into a diagram, and this is normally what they will draw. So we can draw a pie like this, and then normally if you want to have 1/3, you will have 1 pi divided by 3. section equally, like that, and then this is 1/3. Now, if we look at the second fraction, which is 2/6, and they will do another diagram. So in this case, they will divide this pi into 6 parts. Yeah, there are 3, and then now we have 6 equal parts, and 2/6 basically simply 2 parts out of 6. And if they can provide this explanation, it will be something very nice. So basically they will tell us that, oh, you know, this part and this part, they are equal. That's why 1/3 and 2/6, they are equal. And what happened is actually when we try to draw the diagram of a fraction, this will give us a better idea later when they develop the idea of the addition for fraction. So for example, now if we continue the lesson, you know, what is 1/2 plus 1/3? Well, what will happen is normally when they just learn the idea of addition, and you know, they have learned about the integer, for example 2 plus 3, and they just simply add them and we got 5. Probably with this one they will answer the same, which is they will just add the numerator and the denominator, they will got 2, and then they just add the denominator. 2 plus 3 equals to 5. But you know, this is not the right answer actually, because what will happen with the fraction is not the same with the integer. So now we need to explain how to do the addition for fraction. Okay, and the best way to show this is by first let them to think what is half now into a diagram. So they have seen this before. Half is simply this part, and then the 1/3, in this case it's just you know, this part. Now if they will add these two things, what we'll have is we'll have something like this, and then another 1/3, which is this part. So now they will start to ask, so how big actually this shaded area compared to the whole circle, right? And that's now when we try to explain how to do the addition for a fraction. So we just learned how to get the equal value of a fraction. So for example, half equals to 3/6, yeah, and 1/3 equals to 2/6. So in this case, we try to guide them to get another fraction that have same denominator. Okay, so again, we try to ask them the fraction from 1/2 and 1/3, and they must have the same denominator. So in this case, half will be 3/6 and 1/3 will be 2/6, right? And then we try to plug them into one pi together like this. So this means we will have 6 sections, yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, right? Now the first fraction here will occupy 3 sections out of 6. like this, and then the second fraction will give us another 2. So if you look at how many sections we have here, of course we can look at it. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and therefore the shaded area that we will have here is now 5 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 5 on 6. Now they will start to ask, how can we get this number? Right, and then we need to go back again. What will happen with this fraction? So basically, the method that we learn is called creating the common denominator. So this is the classic method. Normally, we'll be introduce them to add fraction, yeah. And in this case, if you look at again the fraction that we got here, yeah, they are 3 on 6 plus 2 on 6. So we see now that this denominator have to be the same. And once we got the same denominator, once we got the common denominator, what will happen now is we simply add the numerator, in this case 3 plus 2, and that gives us 5. And now divided by the denominator, which in this case 6. Of course, when they look at this example, the kids will ask, you know, why with the numerator we add the number, in this case 3 plus 2 we got 5, but then with the numerator we do not add them. You see in this case 6 and 6, and they so also becomes 6. Well, again, when we got this fraction, we simply explain what happens with the pie chart here, and that will explain why the denominator remains 6, but then the numerator will be 5. Basically, we will add, 3 parts plus 2 parts here. So I guess the next thing is we simply need to give more exercise to the kids. First it's to do some practice. For example, with the equal fraction, yeah. So 1 to the 4th equal to, for example, something divided by 20. And then, for example, 2 on 3 equals to 6 divided by something. So try to give some of this exercise, and after that we can do a bit further by giving them another practice. For example, the addition for fraction to 1/3 plus half, for example, and then 4 on 5 plus, for example, 1 on 3, something like that.